Hi, I'm Rob, this is Gems of War and it's Guild Wars Day 5 and it's Purple Day. And this is a super easy team to use on this one. Yesterday was a bit of a nightmare because I won 5-0 but the team is quite technical, you have to look at the board quite a lot. With this one it is a piece of cake to use and super fast. Not too much messing around on this one at all, and yet again it's all based around Sharbanu Vespera, and for me, think she's in the running for best troop in literally the whole game. Because if you haven't seen my other blue and yellow teams of Guild Wars this week, take a look, because she is, again, the key which changes an ordinary team into an absolute wrecking machine. And she's the same in this. It's a mega simple team to use. We're going to be using Reflection of Good in first place, which gives all status effects to an ally. We're going to charge that only when we have to. There's a chance we'll win the game without ever having to cast that. We'll only have to cast that if we need to boost up Vespera if she fails to get charged initially. And it's good because we gain bonus gems when matching purple gems on the traits. And on the trait side of things, we'll have magical shield, so all purple allies gain 2 armor, dark hunger, which steals 1 life from the first enemy. That is surprisingly useful. The amount of times the game leaves the first enemy on 1 life is remarkable, and that extra 1 life steal can be really handy. Plague Bearer, disease a random enemy on 4 or 5 gem matches. We'll go for that because we'll be doing that an awful lot, and the whole team on the opposite side will be diseased in no time at all. That's even if they have a chance to start gaining mana, because this ordinarily works really fast, and you'll see why in a second. Mana source, we want to start with 50%, important to get going quickly. Create a Doomstorm at the start of the battle. Explode 1 yellow gem on 4 or 5 gem matches to aid mana generation again. And Lord of Storms, elementals gain 1 magic when an ally casts a spell, which will be Vespera because she's an elemental and she will cast spells a lot. And the key to it is, once she's charged, you cast it on Reflection of Good, because this will hopefully Vespera's spell, which gives, in my case, 18 to a random skill on an ally, which if that goes on attack, then when you cast Skeleton, which creates a load of skulls, that can get the game ended really quickly as well. And it gains an extra turn. So even if it misses on the first cast, it doesn't matter. You've still got an extra chance, and the chances are, when you cast Vespera, that's charged her up ready. So it's literally like 2 free attempts. You've got the first cast, and then you can cast Vespera again afterwards, and it'll charge up the purples again, because you always cast it on Reflection of Good. There's no need to cast it on Skeleton, because there's nothing to gain from casting Vespera on Skeleton really, because that spell can't actually increase. You can get extra armor from it, but there's no need. It's much more beneficial to cast that onto Reflection of Good. If we don't get a good start on the colours we want, we'll explode Leprechaun at the start, and hopefully it should be pretty plain sailing. Gone for Archmagus because that's a good one for gaining extra purple, and yep, let's give it a go, because ordinarily this should be nice and fast. This is another one of those teams I created myself. I don't really look online at other people's teams. I don't see the point. Everyone ends up using those sort of teams, and then people work out a counter to it, and then they become ineffective quite fast. This is a good team, I think, where it's a little bit outside of the box of the way people normally think, and it can work a treat. So we're looking for purple, yellow or blue. Now, I've not got tons, so it's not a fantastic start. And there's not a lot of green that explodes as well, but we might get some cascades, so we'll do that and see how many we get out of that. Wasn't a lot. Want to use this potion if we can. But I'll do that directly, I think. Yeah, that works out. And now, this is where it all begins. We cast that onto the Now, everyone's charged up. We've got a load of awesome bonus skull hits there. That is awesome. So we just take 4 matches when they're there. See, I was going to do this then, but there's no real need to, because I like the way that these skulls are aligned. And I'm going to cast Skeleton now because there's a good chance of some 4 matches there, which did work out. Now we'll take this at the bottom because it may cause some cascades. It didn't. But now we cast Vespera again on the first group because her spell may put them the bonus that Vespera gives, in this case now 20 to a random skill on an ally, and may put that onto attack. If it does, then it gets this game done even quicker. Now we cast Skeleton again. Now here, like, all we'll do is cast Vespera again, because we want, ideally, all troops charged up. Now, could cast Skeleton, but let's take these first, because ideally you want to end it on a skull match. There you go. And now we're going to end the game with this 4 match here, look, and we're going to have all troops charged, and that was pretty quick. So that should be decent points. $3,268. Not too shabby. Quite do. Undefeated this week so far. 4 5-0s so far. Right, this is interesting. This is the team before it now is one of the teams where they can annihilate you. Once this gets going, this can repeat and repeat and repeat until you are dead. Now, because getting purple isn't super major important, it is important, but Shabani Vespera creates so many purple that it shouldn't be an issue. I am going to switch classes to Frost Mage. And the reason being is Frost Mage, I'll show you the traits quickly. Like the third one, Frostbite, we're going to be getting a load of 4 matches when we get going, and we want to freeze some of them opponents, particularly the ones that can cause damage and repeat at the same time. And also what's good about Frost Mage is we're immune to being frozen ourselves, which doesn't really matter, but we reduce damage by 20%. We still start with 50% mana, but we also submerge a random ally in 4 or 5 gem matches. So when they start that goblin damage, hopefully we'll be submerged anyway if they get around to it. Obviously this is not going to be quite so quick on mana generation as the other one, but it still gives us a better chance than staying with Archmagus. So I think we'll select that. Right, if I'm going to lose one this week, this could be the one if I don't get a good chance, because when these guys get going, you're in trouble. Nothing doing on 4 matches, or oh, actually we can, look, we can do this, which will drop these blue into here for a 4. Or 5, or a cross, whatever you want to call it. And I'll leave that skull there. I want them to take that. I don't want them to get mana for a super guaranteed Vespera getting ready. I'll chuck Reflection of Good onto her. Now we've got going. Skeleton's there. I'll still cast it because you never know what might line up. See, it doesn't matter with Skeleton that I missed because we get an extra turn. And when we cast Vespera, that's going to mess the board up anyway. We've started freezing them, look already. So we've got their Hero Frozen and String Fiddler. As well as that, Leprechaun is submerged, which is the least important troop on our side, but submerged is submerged. And now I've been submerged as well, so if they did manage to get Gobtruffle charged, he's not going to be causing any damage to us whatsoever. It's a thing of beauty. Well, I think so. So, yeah, there's not much to think about. Just keep grabbing the extra 4s that are there, because we can submerge the whole team. Cast a Skeleton. when he's there. If he misses, which he keeps on missing right now, doesn't really matter because we just cast their Sparrow again and hopefully get an extra turn. And they were frozen, so even if they got an extra turn, it doesn't matter. I'm going to cast that onto Vespera again because she's not that well charged. And with that enchant being one of the traits, means she didn't get full mana generation on that explosion. She's ready in no time. Those last two casts from Vespera were oddly not very good. So here we would do put it on her again. We want to get her charged in a hurry. She's to be ready on the next round now, but we'll take this because it's beneficial anyway. It doesn't really do anything, but right, let's put some purple down. Now we cast Skeleton. Get rid of these 4 ones that aren't skulls first. Now cast Skeleton. Check for anything that could turn into a 4 match. And Reflection good again. See, it hasn't really. It's only boosted my attack slightly for Spera's spell, but quite often you'll find that it puts it on her on the attack of the first opponent quite easily sometimes, and you could easily be on over 100 attack by now. So we do Skeleton. 4 matches. Quick check around, make sure there's nothing we're missing out on. And it's nothing doing. Go back to Vespera on the first troop. So you can see this is super straightforward, and that goblin side isn't even getting looking. Now we're all submerged, even if the Gobtroffer is now charged look, but it's double badness for him because first of all we're all submerged, so he's not going to be causing any damage anyway, and secondly he's frozen too, so this is why this team is good. Well, one of the reasons it's good is plenty of reasons why it's good. That is just one of them. Always go back to Skeleton after you've cast Vespera if Skeleton is charged, which it should be. No, don't want singles, only like 4 matches. Vespera again. It's really important in this team you have 2 people which are purple only. In this case it's the hero and Skeleton, because when Vespera casts a spell it generates one of their mana colours, so if they've only got 1 mana colour it can't not, in this case, put a load of purple on the screen. It's very hard for this spell to go wrong. And there we go, we've got a couple of skull hits at the end. We didn't really want, we'd have preferred Skeleton to be fully charged, but not too bad. And that was probably the most dangerous team. And to stop them getting any sort of spell casting whatsoever is pretty good. Right, and this one, this is interesting. They're all purple as well. I want to check if anybody's... Yeah, so they're... Right, I'm going to switch back to my Archmagus for this, because this is a sort of thing we want done in a hurry. Like, that combination of Life and Death and Arachnian Reaver can make short work of teams. So we'll switch back to Archmagus. And go for it. It's pretty important to be adaptable in Guild Wars and think about switching classes for a particular team, or even the team sometimes. I switched teams, I think it was a couple of days ago, and it worked, and I'm pretty sure it would not have worked if I hadn't have changed a team, because some teams are designed to wreck a certain kind of troop layout, and if you're up against that, then you could be in a lot of trouble. Right now here, there's one thing we have to check for. Convert yellow to green, which they're going to get a bunch of right now, which we want to disrupt. We'll take the extra blue first, see if that causes any disruption on what they want. Now here, look, we've got an interesting situation because we're entangled, which means when we cast Skeleton, we're not going to get damage from our first troop. But this is where Reflection of Good is so good. Even though... lost what I was going to say. Even though Vespera is charged, we're not going to cast her first. We're going to cast Reflection of Good on ourselves. That cleanses us and messes up the board. That's a chance that they're going to get going on this. Hopefully it's not going to be too bad. Right, now we webbed on Vespera. This is a problem. Which only gives a 1 to a random skill, but that's not too bad, because we don't care too much about that. It's getting charged, which is the main thing. And the Skeleton still creates 7 skulls, so it hasn't hindered us as much as I thought it was. All we're missing out on Vespera is the extra boost to a skill, which is not that important. It's the getting turn after turn, which is the main thing with Vespera, and it doesn't affect Skeleton at all really, because he still creates 7 skulls, which is the main point of his spell. So we continue as we were. Cast Skeleton. Some green matches, or any 4 matches even, which are around. And they've expired. Back onto Reflection of Good, and then Skeleton. It's amazing how often the AI finds a place to chuck all those skeletons without A, lining any up in the first place, and B, not making it so you can actually make a 4 match afterwards on the second go. Not that it knows where it's putting the skulls or nothing. I'm not implying that for a second. It's like, it's completely random. Honestly, it really is. Onto Vespera. Nothing doing on 4 matches, so 3 Skeleton got a few hits. Ruby. Yeah, so really straightforward team. There's nothing really too much to think about with it. Even when webbed, they're largely unaffected. It's extremely cool. Going down, Weaver. I love a Reckoning Weaver, he's a really good troop. If you have him in your team, as long as you've got him left sometimes, there's always a chance. He's got an awesome 3rd trait, which is a 75% chance to summon a web spinner when an enemy dies. So if you're at least close to taking someone out, and you can kill one of them, and suddenly you get a bunch of web spinners. Very, very handy. So I'm loving this. The fact that we're webbed. Everyone's webbed. It's making virtually no difference to our team whatsoever. We're still annihilating the opponent. Hasta la vista, baby. Shall I do one more cast on... Oh no, I don't need to, because I'm going to take the skulls, which will wipe them out and drop that purple down anyway. So we'll finish fully charged. as well. So more good points, another win. And that showed real good versatility of that team then, how good it is. Like, everyone webbed. Virtually didn't affect the team whatsoever. Similar kind of idea. I've got Rip Spinner in last place, which is slightly unusual. Usually you'd think you'd want them first because it does fantastic damage. Looks lame at first, 34 damage on the spell, but it's the web damage. I mean, the skull damage, because it does web when doing skull damage, and then does triple damage to poison and webbed enemies. Basically, when you get a skull damage with Web Spinner, it applies those two things in order. It applies the snare first, immediately, so you get webbed first, and then the skull effectively hits. So you do get that triple skull damage when you do any skull damage with Web Spinner. And that makes it super, super dangerous. But with that troop there, that is about getting Arachnian Reaver charged up as quickly as possible. Because Arachnian Reaver is a demon, quite literally. It's not actually. It's an elf and a monster. I lied. Alright, I always look to see which one will give a better cascade out of this 4 match here or doing this one here. The autopilot response is to always go for one like this. I'm actually going to do this one first, because we've got no purple alignments right now, and it may bring purples down to around these ones, which is what I want. And we've got an extra couple of hits too, and Vespera charged, so we're already off and running. Again, Vespera is the key to this. Vespera is just such a good troop. For anything that uses her colours, I build a team around her. It is as simple as that. Legendary. Absolutely an outstanding troop. Which is odd, because her opposite, which is Dao, he does similar kind of spell, but you actually take benefits away from the other troops. I don't find it anywhere near as useful. It's strange, because you think it should be nearly as good, because it's the same but the opposite, but it's not. Right, if I take this purple and yellow, hopefully that'll be enough to charge up Vespera for the next round. Or you could cast Reflection of Good on her, which will probably charge her up as well. Or you could explode Leprechaun, which will also charge her. But I'm going to do this because this is almost guaranteed, and I want them to take the skull hit because I'm not worried about that. Another miss from Skeleton, but it doesn't matter because with the extra turn, things are going to start rocking and rolling. There we go. That's a rare miss near the end of the game. Put this on myself this time because no I won't. Yes I will. I'm going to put it on myself because I want to get Barrier and Reflect if it lines up a skull hit for Web Spinner, which it did. So that saved us then from shed load of damage. Still not charged up though. Oh, we're enraged. This may be enough. Not quite. But another awesome benefit of Reflect, look, like he hit me with the skull damage, but he actually killed himself via the Reflect. Reflect is underrated. It's actually a pretty decent defense. Alright, bring it on, Mr. Paragon. Oh, here we go. We've got the kind of Moon Rabbit and Quillin converters to make Divine Ishbala go into an absolute hissy fit. With the Zulgolf there as backup to destroy us. Basically, we've got two things to look out for. Purple to red and brown to skulls on that troop, and Moon Rabbit converting all blue to yellow. Right, if they get a good start, this is dangerous as well. It's not so much extra turns we're worried about, it's getting early skull damage from Ishbala and basically smashing us in the face really early, which we don't want because we could lose a troop or two very, very quickly. I am tempted to switch to a class where we get barrier on this, but no, I'm going to go with what I've done before, and I'm going to switch to Frost Mage again. Still want to freeze them if you can. You don't mind getting one hit here and there, but definitely do not want these making 4 matches which you can't avoid and then benefiting from that. And we're going to want to slow them down as well, so yeah. Alright, we'll go with this. Okay, nothing spectacular to start with. So we're going to explode Leprechaun. He explodes green, and there's green around the colours that we want, which are yellow, blue. So we'll do that, and you can get a lucky cascade afterwards, so it didn't actually set them up. So we are already in a spot of bother unless we can get our Vespera charged up really quickly. Alright. Take these first. Now then, now then. Red to skulls and green to yellow. Well, blimey. God set me up, the other team said. And he did. But we can explode in green, because that is our only chance really, because that is just too good for them. That's bad news. They've got a ton of damage on red. There's not a lot to think about here. We have to use their pawn and see if we get a lucky break, which we did. Now, that's cool. I'll get some cascades. There's quite a lot of blue on the screen now. That's cool. We'll now go with Vespera, and we'll put that on. Reflection is good. We've got 4 match, which is cool. And take these 4 matches. I want to see. Oh, that's a good one. Look, because we'll get a good slap on Ishbala there. Give her a slap, thinking that she could come along and be a one girl wrecking crew. Not on my watch, sunshine. Not on my watch. Skeleton again. Misses, but hasta la vista. Ishbala. Now, go back to Reflection is good, which missed, and we've got some we're going to lose someone here, definitely. They've got the Zulgolf charge. Right, we lost Reflection of Good, but this is not actually a disaster, because our troop there, good old Ishbala, not Ishbala, Shabani Vespera, was a 30% chance to summon a Jinn when matching 4 more gems, which we're still going to be doing a lot, but we are frozen. Ooh! We could be in bother. We could be in bother. 2 choices here. Either take the bit of damage there to get Quilling down a little bit, or if we take this blue one, we're going to get that charged on Vespera, which is good. And because that's going to take away blue and yellow from there, and that yellow is up the top, we'll get an extra yellow from that. And if the next gem above that, which we can't see yet, is another yellow, we'll get a 4 match. So let's roll with that possibility, and in fact it worked out really bad for us. Right. Alright, this... ordinarily, if that was a normal skull there, that would give a 4 match when you take that one and drop these 2 down, but because that explodes, that may mess that up. But I have to go with whatever is going to cause the most disruption. And that is that. Oh, set them up for extra turn. This is bad news. I think I'm about to lose. Wait, come on, Leprechaun. It's Leprechaun against Quillin, Zulgolf, and Moonrabbit. With Zulgolf on 350 odd health. Come on, Leprechaun, you are a hero. You know you can do it. He doesn't know he can do it. He knows swallows us. By the inevitable shouting. My run of wins is over. I won last week 5-0 across the board as well. And I think I only lost 1 the week before that. So it's been a good run. It had to come to an end. But Leprechaun is an unwilling opponent to lose. But it's going to happen.
Mana surge.
May as well get the 4 matches that I can, so we go out in a blaze of glory.
Mana surge.
He's a fighter. He's hanging in there. Come on, Leprechaun buddy, at least take out 1 more troop. Let's see if we can stop them doing that. Purple to red, brown to skulls. What was it? Brown to skulls. Aye! I'm just going to get that and hopefully something will happen. It did! Leprechaun is like refusing to die.
Mana surge.
Leprechaun is still hanging on there. What a hero. Look at him. He's battling away. He's taking out Quillin. You will not kill me. Actually, that should have been, you will not kill me, in a really bad Leprechaun accent. I don't know why I'm thinking about this. There's 0 chance of winning this game. But hey ho, while he's still there, there is a chance, but not much longer when Zulgolf gets his monkey ass charged up. Red and blue, when I stop them, he can't get red and blue, which is good. He can't get purple.
Mana surge.
Ah, Leprechaun, you fouled me.
Mana surge.
He's about to die. Right, well there you go. That's another video. If you found it useful apart from this hideous defeat in the last game, consider liking and subscribing. It does help, but most of all, thanks for watching and hopefully see you again next time. Bye for now. I'll just show my end score with that annoying 1 on the end. Damn it. There it is. 4 and 1. 45,495 points with 1 day to go. Catch you next time. Bye for now.